Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, I want to go and show you guys the next upcoming big graphics update when it comes to both the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PC, and as well as also probably on the Switch too as well. Now, it's actually kind of like a funner topic, and every now and then I do like to go and broach into these on the channel itself, mainly because some people like to see the forward thinking. People like to go and see what developers can go and do, and as well, just sometimes it's just really nice to just know at the back of your head that the future of graphics and gaming is actually getting a little bit better. Now, we usually have a lot of negativity when it comes to, like, graphics or log or optimizations, or you sometimes have games, think like a Cyberpunk, Starfield, or whatever it might be, that sometimes release and they're not like the most pinnacle of gaming, where they may look nice, but they may not be optimized. They may look good, and they may actually run well, but we never necessarily fully know until we actually play the game. But this is why we're trying to go and fine-tune up development engines, and that is what Unreal Engine's trying to go and do. They're about to have one of the biggest updates, really cool changes. I'm going to give you guys the actual video, going to watch it, react to it, also kind of give you guys the rundown of what is being changed, because all this is like for the future of, well, consoles, gaming, developers, and anything in between. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as we go throughout the video. We'll probably be actually live up on Twitch right now, so make sure you guys go and swing on, pop a follow, or say hi. Same thing up in the Twitter too as well. And of course, check out the Amazon links and your thoughts and comments all down below. So first and foremost, you guys have probably heard the big drama this week when it comes to Unity versus Unreal Engine. Now, Unity has actually been absolutely horrible. They are trying to charge the devs that are playing their games an absorbent amount of money, and, well, basically for them, well, not making it just so it's hard to become an actual game dev. And that's horrible, mainly because it takes a very long time to build a game on these specific sub-engines. Sometimes big game companies will have their own individual engines, such as PlayStation has a lot of their own individual engines that are specifically made for their games and for their consoles and all of that. And then sometimes there's things like Unreal Engine that we're going to be talking about and highlighting is that just is open source. Like, anyone can go and utilize it. You do have to give a little bit of money, let's say if you make over $1 million, but typically the terms are all A-okay, so I think it's totally fine. But I'm going to give you guys these brand new updates now, though, because this all is pertaining to the future of what gaming is available and everything else in between. So I hope you guys will relax and enjoy with the Unreal Engine 5.3 major big updates. Let's go let this lady take it away.
Unreal Engine 5.3 brings wide-ranging improvements to existing core UE5 features, as well as introducing some exciting new experimental feature sets that extend the potential for more creative workflow.
First and foremost, random commentary. I always kind of wish I had a house like this. I always do enjoy the random modernistic life, although this in probably any part of the world will probably cost at least a good solid $2-3 million, so that'll probably never happen.
Directly in the Unreal editor. With sparse volume textures, you can store and play back baked simulation data for volumetric effects such as smoke and fire.
So obviously you guys can kind of go and see with this one, it kind of just, number one, allowing you to go and push bigger things such as, like, say, fire effects. Let's say you have a campfire and you want to go and have the game going having like a really cool trailing smoke effect. Or let's go and say there's like a big explosion in the background on the engine itself. You basically see that, like, kind of dissipate and kind of flow towards you or away from you or whatever it might be. Think like a volcano maybe in the background, but I have to go and see somewhat realistic actual smoke and ashes floating on through. Now, sometimes these things are really nice to have in your games, although it is very, well, rough to go and run through because it is optimizing, like, it has to be fully optimized for you to go and see all these particles, and it actually does have to process. And the game and the engines basically have to go and realize, like, is this possible? Is it not possible? All of that type of stuff. And, well, that's what makes this a little bit on the harder side, but it's still cool.
SVTs can be simulated in Niagara or imported from OpenVDB files created in other 3D applications. And for cinematics, films, and other linear media, you can now use the path tracer for high-quality volumetric rendering.
So this is also kind of like just really fine, cool, like, details that if you're, say, playing on the PlayStation game, if the game is being made in Unreal, which a lot of games nowadays are made in Unreal, and especially with the Unity drama, we'll probably see a lot more, this basically means that these huge graphic updates and big quality of life changes will make the games a lot better and nicer. It's nice.
Including global illumination, shadows, and scattering. Orthographic.
And a lot of that type of stuff too is also kind of more tied into things like, let's say you have all these extra darkness, like, so you have a literal explosion, and it will go and block out, let's say, the sun, and that'll actually go and reflect into the actual games themselves, where, like, it may become like a cloudy area, or if there's a cloud in the sky, maybe like randomly RNG, the whole area might get a little bit more on the cloudier side. Or in the reverse, when there's like an explosion, maybe more light will be luminescent throughout the rooms you're in or the area you're into as well, which is really cool.
Rendering is also now supported as an experimental feature, offering stylistic camera choices for games and visualization. It's available in the Unreal Editor and at runtime.
Now, this kind of just go give me like those old school Resident Evil vibes, or just trying to go and follow the character and let people kind of go and see the angles from
With
this.
support for most UE5 features, next up, an experimental new skeletal editor provides you with a variety of tools for working with your skeletal meshes. including the ability to paint skin weights. Another experimental feature set introduced.
Now this one's gonna be kind of cool. Obviously, a lot of these cool features and new features are pretty important details. But one thing to kind of note is like this is also then pushing things like prior, like the past few years, we saw a lot more focus on hair physics. So basically, like, let's say you're moving, like if you're playing a video game, your hair is not gonna be like mine, not moving. If you're kind of swinging around, you're in a fight, you're in a tussle, your hair should be and will be moving around. And I kind of feel like this technology is also being pushed into other various things, such as like t-shirts. Like let's say if you're running, you want to go have like different types of folds, shadows, textures, and everything else in your shirts themselves. Which of course, all these are more of like the quality of life updates or just very fine-tuned stuff, which is not necessarily always needed, but this is kind of cool in my mind to go and see.
This is a new panel cloth editor that delivers better looking simulations and adds support for a non-destructive cloth simulation workflow where you can trade off speed.
So you can basically, as you guys go through this, you could basically go and see the character's shirt moving. Like it actually has like more living, breathing details. Because if you're in like in real life, look, you see how even my arm over here is adding shadows onto my shirt itself. And these are really cool small night details that make you more immersed in the games. Like obviously, if you're gonna have your hand here, there should be a blockage, which makes everything underneath you is gonna be a little bit darker. And that's just how the world works. But a lot of times, video games, in terms of rendering, in terms of the consoles, optimization, etc., do make it a lot harder, and it's also not as always optimized. But if you have the engine itself, such as Unreal Engine, kind of sitting here and like, I guess, I don't know, like just being able to utilize this, people can include these features because they're basically like a plug and play when it comes to your game and workflow, which is really nice.
For precision.
You can see like
Cloth can also now be simulated and cached in Enginge using the ML.
So you can also kind of see this too as well. So
the virtual production.
Another good example for that is like, let's say you're in like a fight, or let's say you're like in a car and you have to stand up. You can basically go and see the shirt itself or the clothing go and move, which is really cool.
Front, in preparation for the next generation of LED production stages, we've added experimental support to in-display for SMPTE ST2110. This lays the groundwork for a range of hardware configurations that open up new possibilities for LED stages.
Now, this is even cooler. So I think from what I kind of saw from this might be more inclined to, like, let's say, movie stuff. Like, let's say you're trying to go film a movie. Because if you guys do or do not know, sometimes random movies have now been made in things like Unreal Engine because, well, it's just, number one, some places just don't exist. But number two, video game engines do become somewhat realistic. Now, a good example is, like, let's say you look far away. Like, you're not, if your main focus is more on, like, the people in front of you. Like, you look at the guy with the camera. Yeah, you can tell that's real life. But if you look kind of behind and you're in maybe a movie or an area and you're kind of, like, farther away, it's a little bit blurry, the focus is off, which sometimes stylistically, that's even just what happens in normal film. It kind of gives you the better chance to go and, well, have a chance to utilize it, which I think is all around really, really cool.
Including having a dedicated machine for each camera frustum, maximizing the potential rendering resolution, increasing frame rate, and allowing
basically
for
just making everything a lot more optimized
and lighting.
Both for maybe video game cutscenes or even shows and
movies.
movies.
We've also added a new Cinecam rig rail actor that enables filmmakers to emulate traditional camera movement along tracks or on dollies.
So also when they go and say filmmakers, this could also be integrated into, let's say, games, like, you know, think animations, cutscenes, and all this, which is insane. This is so cool to go and see. Granted as well also for things like actual CGI for actual movies, like Hollywood movies you may be watching in the future.
It provides the ability to
cool.
choreograph camera settings at different control points along the path and supports both in-editor and VCam workflows. Talking of VCam, you can now browse takes directly on the iPad for review or re-recording, simultaneously stream different output for different team members, and record at a slower frame rate for easier capture of fast-moving action. And last but not least, you can now leverage additional CPU and memory resources when cooking content.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not really sure what cooking content is, but it makes me want to go make like some nice brownies or something, just saying.
These are just some of the highlights of what's new in Unreal Engine 5.3. You can
So kind of give you guys like the quick rundown as I've kind of gone through it. There's just a lot more random, genuine updates that are popping on for this. And if you guys ever want to go through more of these like proper things, they've had a chance to kind of go do this in the actual Unreal Engine docs, where they have things like that same physics thing for hair. They have same different other things too as well for temporal super resolution. They have all different types of rendering. Lighting was a really big one too as well, to go and build more of an atmospheric ray tracing light that allows people to go and just feel a lot more immersed. Different things with world building. We have nanite landscapes that basically go make more orangey backgrounds too, and procedurally generated content as well. So once again, like let's say being in a forest, and you can try to go add more trees, more bushes, more everything else, which at the end of the day will be making almost every single game a little bit easier and a little bit nicer to go and make. And I think this looks around just really, really cool. They just had huge platform updates, everything else. This is all going to be stuff that we can include now for other future games. A lot of lighting stuff, a lot of physics-based stuff, and I think it's going to be really cool for the future of all types of stuff like the PlayStation and Xbox, because I love seeing new graphics, I love seeing new games, and I love seeing all this stuff in the first place. And let me know if you guys enjoy this kind of rough overview of the video itself. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below in case you guys want to follow. We also have all the Amazon links too as well if you guys want to check those on out. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.